have to scream. That's perfect. You're an idiot. You're a total. That doesn't make any sense. Okay. Okay. Twitter. Move this over here. Move this screen over here. Alright. Why am I streaming? The event is starting, but has it started yet? Oh, yeah, it's streaming. Okay. So, hey, it's time for another one of my super chill, casual Patreon live streams, right? And so, yeah, we've been getting a lot of interesting information coming out about the Dune movies. We've been getting a lot of casting stuff. And then also Game of Thrones, the trailer just came out. The trailer was just released. And I reacted to that on my channel. And so I was thinking here on this Patreon live stream, which will be on Patreon later on. You can go back and watch this. Wait, what am I saying? I'm like out of it. Right? I'm so freaking out of it right now. Yeah, anyways, Game of Thrones. I'm going to be going more in depth into the trailer and making some predictions about the show. That's what I'm doing. I was like looking off to the side trying to read something. But yeah, we're going to do that, and I'm gonna talk about the Dune casting a little bit more, and then I'm going to talk about some other stuff that I've been watching. Umbrella Academy, and then also American Gods, which I just started reading as well. What's up, Ridiculous Ed Toilette? What's going on with you? Alright, so I did pull up the trailer. I pulled up the Game of Thrones trailer. Alright. And what I haven't done is like gone through it like shot by shot and just looked at everything more carefully. So that's what I'm about to do. So let's see. Move this over here. And let's see if I missed anything the first time. I'm sure I did. I know I got that one thing wrong. I thought it was Brienne, but okay. It's just Arya's face. Where is she? I was wondering if she was running through the crypts, but the crypts, but they have like archways? No, there's a window right there, so that can't be the crypts. That's definitely not the crypts. Battlements. Where is that? Is that Winterfell? Davos looks like he could be at Winterfell. Is she running through the walls of Winterfell? She might just be running in Winterfell. No, where are they hiding? Who's there? I don't recognize. Those could be wildlings, actually. No, Varys. That's definitely the crypts, I think, because I see a. It looks like a wolf statue, maybe, and then like a king, or is there someone with a sword? So this could be the crypts, I think. I just read the first series of Umbrella Academy Apocalypse suit. It's really good. Well, I do have that volume. I just got it off of Comixology, so I will talk about that show in just a little bit. But let me examine this trailer a little bit more. See what's going on here. More Arya running. She looks terrified. Looks hurt, wounded. What is she saying here?
What's saying this one?
Blah, blah, blah. So these are the Greyjoy ships. And for some reason, upon first glance, I thought this was Brienne. So I'm like, Brienne washing... No, I'm like, Brienne on a Greyjoy ship, but clearly this is not Brienne. Upon a closer inspection, this is definitely the Golden Company. Harry, what's-his-face? Harry, what's-his-face? Doesn't really look like him, though, the way he's described in the book, but it's just the back of him. It's interesting. Thoros of Myr. What's his name? I'm out of it. What is his name? How am I forgetting his name? The wildling guy. Oh, the bear fucker. The bear fucker. What's his name? Torment. How did I forget Torment's name? And who else is that with him? Is that Dolores Ed? I think that's Dolores Ed. Samwell and Bran. Cersei looks really satisfied here. What's going on? She looks like she just won something big. Like she's like giving like, yeah, I'm killing it right now. I wonder what's going on here. She looks rather cocky. Who is this person? Was this like a newer Arya? Is this new Arya watching Daenerys arrive in Winterfell? Or is this a little boy? He's climbing. That's interesting. He's climbing a tree like Bran. That's interesting. Who is this? I don't think we've ever seen this little boy. You're saying it definitely is Tormund. Yeah, it is Tormund. Who is this? Have we seen this? I don't know who that could be. Some little poor boy in Winterfell. Dragon, Sansa, blah blah blah, great CGI. Jon in the crypts. Daenerys coming into the crypts and being like, hello. This battle with, oh, that's a lot of horses. We usually, I'm glad in these later seasons we can get I'm glad that we can get more horses in the later seasons of the show, because it's like in the earlier season, one of my biggest complaints is that people were just like walking around, they weren't enough horses. But now their budget is crazy, so they can just get CGI horses and just like rent a bunch of horses, I guess. I hate to nitpick, but it's pronounced sweet. What did I say? Oh, did I say suit? I'm sorry, I do that all the time. Of course, I know it's spelled. Of course, I know it's pronounced sweet, but a little bit tired today. Anyways, back to this. Let's see what's going on here. Just keep examining this. The time wasters. Missandei and Grey Worm are such time waster characters. Like, I don't care. I've heard many people in the South say soup for sweet. I don't know. Maybe it's just a thing around here. I don't know. I pronounce a lot of weird things. I pronounce a lot of things weirdly, apparently. Like, sometimes they say daughter, which everyone around here says daughter. But apparently, daughter. Like, whenever I would say that on the internet, people would be like, why are you saying it like that? It's daughter. I don't know. And apparently water is another one that I say weird. Water. And I was like, it's water. Sounds, I feel weird saying water. Water. It makes me feel like it should be pronounced with a U if I say water. It's water. It's an A, not a U. I don't know. Anyways, Missandei. Okay, this battle here with... Is that Jaime? Is that Jaime chopping off effing those White Walkers up? That looks badass. That scene looks awesome. Fiery. Okay, what is this? Cersei on the Iron Throne. Who's that standing before her, I wonder? She looks... This looks like Cersei in her final moment. Like in her final hour. Right? Doesn't it? Looks like she's just totally stripped down and she's resigned to her fate and she's just saying, whatever is to come, just let it happen. That's what that looks. That's what this looks like to me. It's like she's just like, I've accepted whatever fate awaits me. That's what I see on Lena Headey's face here. So I'm curious to see what that's gonna be all about. Yeah, then that little head turn. Just look at it. Wow. I wonder who she was talking to too. It looks like it looks like almost like someone said something to her. She thought about it for a second, and then she thought, "Oh yeah, you're right." Like someone just said something to her, and it like clicked in her head, and she's just like, yeah, I don't know. God, this looks CGI is legit. Oh, we just ran. Okay. Arya is like, oh my god, a dragon. Grey Worm putting on the helmet is happening. So it looks like Jon and Dany are walking up to a dragon, so I'm wondering, is this the point where they both ride dragons together? Seems like that's what's about to happen, right? They're both about to... She's going to get on Drogon, he's going to get on Rhaegal, and it is what it is. I mean, Rhaegal named for Jon's father, Rhaegar, so it's like, kind of makes sense, I guess. Ridiculous Ed, all that says. It's an understandable mistake if you're reading the word quickly. Not too often as sweet shows up in everyday. Not too often sweet shows up in everyday vocab. That's true. Jon is channeling Ned. Yeah, I think so. He definitely... Jon is definitely channeling Ned from... It's been like that for a couple seasons, I think. Definitely becoming Ned. Honestly, I don't see. Everyone's ready. They're ready to face the coming darkness. I don't like Brienne on the front line. It makes me feel like she's gonna die early on. Ah, Podrick, Jorah, they're all ready. Man, yeah, but like I was saying, I don't know how. I don't. Okay, this is what I think. I think they're gonna keep Sansa alive. I think Sansa's living, but I think Arya's probably dead. Arya's dead because I feel like the people that are making the show kind of do a little bit have an agenda, and I'm not saying that I'm like against it a little bit, but I do think they're kind of pushing like the female thing, right? And I feel like Sansa kind of represents this whole. I feel like Sansa represents something, right? For I think people that for a certain group of people. So I think that I feel like Sansa's gonna live, Arya's gonna die. Bran's consciousness might live on. I feel like Bran might some woo woo stuff might happen to Bran and he'll just be like inside the tree or something. I could see them doing something like that. Um, but yeah, I think definitely we're getting massive death. Jorah's probably gone. Sorry to say it, but Brienne's probably dead. They're probably gonna kill Podrick. All these like other minor characters are dying probably a little bit earlier on. So I'm wondering if they're gonna get that battle at Winterfell thing over quickly and then later on because it'd be weird for me if this ended with a big battle because I know that's not what George R. R. Martin really wants. He wants it. George R. R. Martin is telling some kind of allegorical, kind of fairy tale story, right? That's at its core, it's very anti-war and about harmony and about the forces of nature working together in harmony. So, if I was doing this, I feel like the second half of the season would be focused on a more like instead of just more like a gritty, like literally fighting the White Walkers, it would be more like an abstract kind of thing going on, which would be tipping the scales out of what the show typically does into something that's like a little bit more fantastical and more esoteric, which is more my style, but I don't know if they're actually going to do that. But that's what I would want to see. I feel like if they could give me some kind of mix of that and give us something that's a little bit more cerebral, then that would be good because they would be feeding kind of the people that read the books and a lot of the weight and a lot of the what's the word? A lot of the depth has been missing for a while. So if they could put some of that in there and give us something that's less standard, less like regular Hollywood, that would be neat. Bets on Danny surviving. Oh my god, I feel like I honestly you could flip a coin. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I really, really don't know what they're gonna do. I'd say I'm 60% on her living and 40% on her dying. I'd say that's where I'm at with Danny at this point. I think Arya's gone. I think John's probably going to end up surviving because they've already killed him once. Who else? As much as I hate to say this, Cersei's probably going to die. The Mountain's dying. I hope the Mountain gets eaten by a dragon. That'll be pretty cool. Like if the dragon eating them, that'd be cool. I don't want the Hound to kill the Mountain. I feel like that's stupid. Is Cersei just smiling? Is she waiting the Golden Company and that's why she's smiling? That could be why Cersei's smiling here. I could see Missandei living, but then Grey Worm's probably going to die. They're not getting a happy ending. Jaime's probably finished. At least one of the dragons is going to die, if not both of them. Yeah, there's massive deaths happening this season. Let's see how right I am, right? You guys? Let's see how right I am. You can go back to this video and check. Ugh, what about Tyrion? Ugh, I haven't even thought about Tyrion. See, this is another one that I've been questioning a lot. But I tend to think about Moqorro in the books and what he says to Tyrion when he says, I see dragons, old and young, new and blah, 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 true and false. Well, you remember what he says, basically. And then he says, I see you, A small man with a large shadow snarling in the midst of it. And then also, that's not the first time Tyrion has been mentioned in the books to have a large shadow. Early in A Game of Thrones, in when he's having that interaction with Jon, there was a specific line about how large a shadow is, a small man casting a large shadow. So you have to wonder what that means, kind of metaphorically. And I think that it has to do with Tyrion's influence in the grand scheme of things in the grand game. So I take that to mean that Tyrion is someone that's influential on all sides and that he's very important in the grand scheme of things. And also that he's kind of watching everything. He's kind of on the sidelines almost, is the way I interpret it. Like he's watching these things happen because it says, small man, big shadow, very influential, but he's snarling in the midst of all these things that are happening around him. So if my interpretation is right and they kind of were on those lines, I would say that Tyrion probably will survive to the end, and that he'll be one of those characters that can look back on all this and kind of be like, wow, wasn't that some shit? And that's also how I kind of feel about Samwell. I feel like Samwell is going to live because I know this is kind of cliche and this is totally, if George does this, it's a total Lord of the Rings ripoff. But I feel like Samwell could almost be that character in the end that's writing a book. And then he flips it over to the front page and he writes, A Song of Ice and Fire. You know, he's telling the story. I almost feel like that could be Samwell Tarly as a character. So I see Samwell living because he's the scribe, he's the historian, he's writing this all down in the end. I feel like him and Tyrion almost are on the same lines. But yeah, Tyrion, Samwell, I think they're gonna live. Podrick's gone. Brienne's gone. Jorah's gone. Like I said, who else? Sansa probably live. Sansa will live because that's what I feel like. There's a certain group of people that are really, really behind Sansa, and if they kill off Sansa, I feel like that group of people will be like totally just pissed out of their brains. Those same people will be happier with Daenerys dying than with Sansa dying. And that might be why Sam dies, even though I agree with you. Tyrion could also write the story. Yeah, I agree, Elena Prasenov Bravos. I totally agree. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't know. It could be either of those two that could fill that role, I definitely think. I'm a little upset we didn't get White Walkers in this trailer, though. Jon is running here. What's this? Who is this right here holding a sword? Look at the Hound, though. I didn't notice this at first. He's surrounded by fire, so he's got to be terrified. And to be terrified, I wonder what is this Winterfell on fire like this. All in all, this was an excellent trailer. It definitely teased a lot. I'm glad they put Gendry back to work. Definitely teased a lot. A lot of dragons in this trailer, too. I wonder how often the dragons are going to show up in the series. I don't know, I feel like the last 2 seasons there have been dragons in every episode, which was not something that they did early on, because it was like a budgetary constraint, so they could only show dragons every so once in a while. So like in all the later seasons, it's dragons in every episode. So it looks like there's enough dragon shots where they can show them in the trailers like 3 or 4 times. Like there's a lot of dragon shots just in the trailer. Like there's the dragon fire breath moment right there, which honestly, as someone that dabbles in like visual effects and CGI, I'm not saying that I could ever create anything that looks this good. But like the dragon in the dark thing is kind of a little bit of a cop out, a little bit of a cheap out, because like you're putting it in the dark, so you don't have to animate anything else around it. You don't have to blend it in with its environment at all, and you're only even showing a part of it, so it's like an easier render as well. And you know these dragon models, they use the exact same one for every dragon. They're just slightly colored differently. So it's like whatever you can. But whatever. I'm not gonna bitch about that. That's one of the best looking CGI dragons that I've ever seen. But yeah, I feel like the CGI also has kind of stagnated too a little bit. Because, you know, it kept getting better. I feel like the peak of it still was probably around season 4. because that scene where Daenerys is like petting Drogon when they're out somewhere, like in the desert somewhere, and you have the other two that are like fighting over like that lamb corpse or whatever, and she's petting Drogon. It looks so real. It looks so fleshy and real. It's incredible. And now it's just kind of, it's not gotten any worse, but it hasn't like gotten like way better, which is understandable. It's still some of the best CGI I've ever seen. I always comment on how good it looks. Yeah, so that's just about it about this trailer, so we'll have to wait till trailer 2 to see what else happens. I wish there was some Melisandre, I wish there was some Night King action, but alas, there was not. But the trailer got me excited about season 8 of Game of Thrones, and I'm excited to see what they do. And like I always say, I'm holding out for Night King, Cersei joining, Night King and Cersei ruling the Seven Kingdoms of Darkness reigning forever. You know, if that happens, then I'm all for it. I'm all for it, HBO. Give me what I need. Give me my effed up, sadistic vision of the future of Westeros. Now, that'd be messed up. That'd be really messed up. But we'll see. We'll see how they choose to end Game of Thrones. This has got to be one of the most, if not the most anticipated ending of a television show ever. And I guess I was a little bit too young for the Lost craze when Lost was happening. I guess a lot of people were excited about that or whatever. I guess I was a little bit too young for that, but apparently that was big. But I feel like Game of Thrones is bigger than Lost ever was, you know, like, because Lost, I watched Lost, like, after, like, on Netflix, after, like, it aired, like, years and years after it aired. And honestly, Lost, I mean, I about Game of Thrones. Lost had one good season, and then like it goes to shit like after just one season. Like Lost is, I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anybody says. Lost got really bad after like season 1, and you know that's just it. Lost was such trash, and I hate when I get that feeling that a show or a movie is just like stringing me along for the ride. I hate it when I get that feeling. And that was the feeling that I had all the way through Lost. And before I even finished it, I like read this article from like a way long ago where it was like the writers of the show were like, oh yeah, everything in the end will have a scientific explanation. It'll all make sense in the end. So I'm sitting through like 5 or 6 seasons of this fucking stupid show or whatever the fuck, like waiting for it all to make sense, and it never made sense, and I was just so upset, and I'm like, can't believe I wasted however many hours that I wasted on this show. But Game of Thrones, I feel like Game of Thrones, for what it is, it's been pretty satisfying. Like, I still recommend Game of Thrones to people. I always say to people that you might be a little bit upset. I don't even tell them they're going to be upset, because I feel like most people that if you just watch Game of Thrones, you're probably going to enjoy most of what you see compared to most other television that's out there, right? I get pissed because like I'm such a huge fan of George R. R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire books. I'm just like, I don't change shit. But I feel like someone that's just watching Game of Thrones, they're probably gonna love this show, and I've come to accept Game of Thrones for what it is for the most part, even though that's not gonna stop me from bitching about it. So fuck anybody on the internet that tells me to censor myself and stop. So this was bigger than Lost. Interesting. Wolfed says wolfed. Is it wolfed or wolfed? It's probably wolfed, right? Hoping the budget expansion means Ghost might actually show up more than once. Yeah, that's one thing about this show that kind of pisses me off. It's a travesty what they did to the direwolves by just killing them all off and then just never showing Ghost. And also, to me, I know a lot of people aren't upset about this, but I was really hurt and upset and offended by how quickly they introduced the Children of the Forest and then just killed them all off. I was very upset. I was not okay with it. I'm like, because you gotta understand, for like 6 years or something, I was telling my friends and family that were watching the show, oh my god, gotta wait till the freaking Children of the Forest show up. And they're like, what the fuck are the Children of the Forest? I'm like telling them like, oh, these fucking elf tree creatures and they're so awesome and they might be like drinking blood and like they might be trying to do all this sinister shit. I'm telling them all this shit about the Children of the Forest, and they get there, cool, and they kill them after like 3 episodes. That was really upsetting to me and offensive. And then also the killing of the direwolves, which kind of happened around the same time. Like that all happened in like season 6, I think, where they just killed all the fucking children of the forest. They killed all the direwolves. They like killed Bloodraven, and it all happened so quickly. They're just like, F magic, F the magical side. We don't give a shit about any of this. All we care about is dragons and White Walkers. Fuck anything else magical. And then even Bran after that just becomes a nothing stupid character. See, I see. You see how like it goes immediately from me praising the show to me totally like bitching and shitting on it. See how quickly that transfer happens. It wasn't great, but when you're anticipating each episode, it makes. Yeah, it does. It does. It does. I feel like when you have the experience of just like watching it all in at once, it's less frustrating. Because like a lot of times, it's like when you're watching it like right as it's coming out, it's like, why did you waste time on this? Like, why are you wasting fucking 75 seconds on Sam Weltarly shoveling shit? Like that's so disgusting and stupid. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, like I get it. It feels like I hate feeling like my time is wasted. I accept the show for what it is too. Once I did, the show became better for me. Yeah, I agree. But Dragon, yeah, exactly. Tell us how you really feel. Well, how I really feel is that I really appreciate the fact that Game of Thrones got made because it opened up a lot of opportunities for me with my YouTube channel, and it just allowed me to like kind of grow as a person, really, honestly. Because it was like it's very weird because I've been reading the Song of Ice and Fire for like half of my life or something. I don't know. It's been a really long time. So it's always been something that's kind of been a part of like who I am in my life. So it's been kind of weird to see it kind of expand from something that like literally no one knew about. Like I remember I tried to talk to people about A Song of Ice and Fire to something that literally no one knew about to something that everybody knows about. Like everyone knows about Game of Thrones now. So that's freaking amazing. And it's been cool to see it like adapted in some way, even though it's kind of limited. But because of that, we got like, I mean, I like the comics. I like the comic adaptations, and I'm hoping they continue them and to make more. I don't know how many volumes they've done. I have like, I think 3 volumes of the A Song of Ice and Fire comic. They're like hardcover. They're in there somewhere. But I don't know if they actually continued to the other books. I don't think they did, but I wish they would because I would like a fully completed comic Song of Ice and Fire volume. That'd be really cool. But honestly, though, don't tell anyone. But like, I don't really like the art that much in the comics because as someone that reads a lot of comics, I've seen better art. I've just seen better art. It could be better. Like I really love. There's this comic called Artesia, which is kind of like this epic fantasy story about this warrior queen, and it's like all done in watercolor, and it's very adult, and it's got some really adult stuff. That's a really cool comic, and the art is like fantastic. And there's another one that I really love called Low. Really great art. That one's by Rick Reminder or Reminder. I always call him Rick Reminder, but it's Rick Reminder. But yeah, that one's really good. And then Saga, of course, is one of the best comics. I feel like Saga will go down as one of the best comics ever written. But yeah, what else was on the topic? What else was I going to talk about? Oh yeah, Dune casting. Dune. Okay, so yeah, basically, who somebody knew was cast. Oh yeah, the Twisted Mentat Piter. So in Dune, there are these people called Mentats, and the Mentats are like the human computers, but then the Tleilax, who are like these fucked up scientists on the edge of the universe. They do all this messed up shit that like they're not supposed to be doing, and so they can create what are called Twisted Mentats, who are like they're used for basically sinister purposes to do evil shit. And so David Dastmalchian, I don't know how to say his name. He's been cast as Piter. And, you know, he's cool. He definitely looks like Piter DeVries. And I've seen him in a couple stuff, and he's always an asshole, I'm pretty sure. And he's great as Piter, and that's pretty much the only news. There's no more casting news other than the Zendaya thing is still rumored, and I don't really care about Zendaya playing Chani. Like, who gives a shit? I mean, to me, even in Dune, I don't really care about Chani. Even in the book, I'm just like, whatever. She's just, guess she's cool, friggin' chick, whatever. She was never my favorite character, so whatever. And that's it about the Dune casting. There wasn't much information. I don't even know why I wrote that. I thought there was more casting information, but I've talked about all this. I've talked about Jason Momoa as Duncan Idaho and Javier as Stilgar. Timothée, of course, Josh Brolin, Gray Halleck, David Bautista. That one's still crazy to me. Dave Bautista as the Beast. That one's so perfect. Okay. I guess I can just talk about random stuff that I'm watching right now. So speaking of television, right, because we were talking about Game of Thrones. 2 shows that I started watching because people recommended it to me on Twitter were Umbrella Academy, which I'm still watching. I hope that I'm cast soon, Wolfed. I hope that I'm cast soon because I'd love to play like a background Fremen. Right? I feel like I could do that. I could do that. That'd be so cool. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? I can be a Fremen just standing in the background just so I can just get the Blu-rays, and every time anyone comes over to my house for any purpose, I'm gonna put in the Blu-ray and be like, hey, you see that? That's me. Fast forward to that scene as soon as they come over, like, that's me. Anyways, Umbrella Academy, American Gods. I finished American Gods and I started the book. Amazing. But we're going to talk about Umbrella Academy first. I'm like 4 episodes in. Umbrella Academy, how do I describe it? It's kind of like X-Men, but it's not like X-Men if you've watched the movie X-Men. It's kind of like, well, it's kind of, yeah, it's just say it's like X-Men kind of. They're like these kids, or I guess adults, that have powers. They were all like adopted by this guy, this old guy, and he's gonna train them to be a superhero team basically. And one of them gets lost in the future, and he comes back, and they're trying to prevent the end of the world. And it's interesting, and it's based off of a graphic novel, which I just got on Comixology, so I'm getting ready to read that after I finish the series. It's cool. I'm getting into it. It's gradually getting more interesting. At first, I was like, yeah, fuck this, and I couldn't. There's like a talking chimpanzee, so I couldn't stop laughing, and I was like, fucking talking chimpanzee. Like, how is that not funny? Like, that's fucking hilarious. I can't take it seriously. But then, as the story started to unfold, I started to be gradually more and more invested in it, and it's actually pretty decent. I'd say I'd give it a thumbs up. I'm only on episode 4. It could be shitty in the end, but we'll see. At first, it was like I hated everyone. I'm like, I hate Ellen Page's character. I hate that Diego guy. I hate the Beast guy. The only one that I liked was, what's his name? Klaus, number 4, I think. He was the only cool one. The one that's like just a druggie and just like is like a total screw up loser. That was the only one that I liked at first, but then I guess the other ones are still kind of are starting to grow on me. At first I thought the one that came back from the future was a little shit. I thought like, oh, fuck this kid. But then when they started to like, damn kids outside my window, when they started to explain his story a little bit more, I started to feel a little bit bad about him because I'm like, oh, he was trapped in the future, like alone for so long. So yeah, I started to feel a little bit bad for him, so I started to get him a little bit more. I still don't really like Diego. Like Diego is still he can kind of go screw himself. I still don't really like that guy. And still number 4 is my favorite. Ellen Page, she's kind of blah. My thing is, okay, so right off the bat, like she's the one of the group that doesn't have any powers. So they're like, oh, she doesn't have any powers. So you immediately know where that's going. Obviously, she totally does have powers, and I'm just like waiting. I've been waiting since like the first episode for them to reveal whatever her hidden power is that obviously her dad kept hidden because she was for some reason she's basically okay. So in those X-Men movies, right? They have this shitty version of the Phoenix, right? Where they have like the Phoenix is just a force that Jean Grey is locked inside her memory that the professor locked away because it was too powerful. And I'm almost like 99% sure that that's the exact thing that's going on in this Umbrella Academy show. So I'm just waiting for that to happen. But whatever, it's decent television. But let's move on to excellent television. Let's move on to American Gods, which was the other thing that I started watching. And if Umbrella Academy is good, then, I mean, American Gods is just absolutely fantastic. All these notifications are going off on my phone. Umbrella Academy is just absolutely fantastic. So, not Umbrella Academy, American Gods. So, American Gods is like this abstract, modern fantasy story, and you got basically the old gods, which are like the classic old gods. You've got like Astera, the goddess of, like we celebrate Easter because of all that, like the pagan shit. So she's like Astora, the goddess of spring or whatever. You've got Odin in the mix. You've got a bunch of other gods in the mix versus like the new gods. And it's like technology and stuff. It's kind of abstract. It's kind of like you have to figure out who certain people are. So because it's like back in the day they worshipped gods. But now it's like we worship technology and guns and drugs and like all this other stuff. So it's like the new gods versus the older gods who are dying out. And it's just this really visually just spectacular, just amazing, multi-layered commentary on just modern life and just a modern American culture. And it's just like just this awesome deconstruction. And it's just freaking brilliant. Like Neil Gaiman always freaking does it. I don't know if anybody's read Sandman, that graphic novel that he did. And he also did Sandman Overture, which I haven't read. Read the original Sandman run. I have the omnibus, the big book. But this is totally his style, and I just felt him all over this. And this was fantastic. It follows the character mainly. This character named Shadow Moon, and he kind of falls into this crazy world of old gods and new gods and just crazy stuff. And then there's like a dead girl, and there's a leprechaun, and it's funny and it's brutal and it's one of the most just brilliant pieces of television that I've seen in recent memory. Like, it's been a while. And apparently, a new episode's coming on tonight. Season 2 is airing, so I was just in time in watching it. So, like, that's fantastic, and I'll try and see if I can catch that episode. So, yeah, so that's pretty much what I've been watching. American Gods gets, seriously, like, 2 thumbs up for me. And then Umbrella Academy, I'm not done with it, but so far I'm really enjoying the ride. And what else? Oh, I'll tell you about something that I'm reading. So I got this as a gift from some friends of mine. I just started reading it. So I don't normally do manga, but some friends of mine got this for me. And this is called Spiral into Horror by Juni. I'm not even going to try and say that. I'm not even going to try and say the name. But this is what I'm reading. And it's really, 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 really effing good. So it's kind of like this, it's very weird in Japanese. It's kind of like this almost Lovecraftian horror thing. There's this town where some weird shit's happening. There's all these spirals everywhere, and people are losing their fucking minds, and there's all this weird shit happening. And there's this girl who's kind of annoying and dim-witted so far. I'm like, wake up, bitch. There's clearly some weird shit going on in this town. But it's really good, and I've been reading that. Some friends recommended it to me and said I really like it, and I've enjoyed it so far. I'm only like a little bit through it, because I kind of put it down and started reading American Gods, the book, and I've been really enjoying that so far. So that's like, And I'm super excited to see American Gods Season 2. That's another thing about it, too. It's just like so visually pleasing. Like, so visually pleasing. And another thing is, too, that I feel like if you're sensitive, don't watch it. It's not something that sensitive people, I think, will like. I think if you get easily triggered by anything, there's a lot in American Gods that I feel like could trigger people. There's some sexual stuff that could trigger you. There's religious stuff that could definitely trigger you. There's violence that could trigger you. So if you're not into that, then I think you should shy away from it. And maybe like Umbrella Academy is more your style. Even though there is some pretty graphic violence in Umbrella Academy. And then there's also like, I'm pretty sure, there's kind of some incest stuff going on. Kind of hinted at, but they were adopted, so it's not technically incest between number 1 and I think number 3 or number 2. Whoever is like the older chick. Yeah, so I feel like there's some incest stuff being hinted at. Like Game of Thrones. popularizing incest, George R. R. Martin. What have you done? What have you done, George? Did you know that originally George R. R. Martin actually had intended for Arya and Jon to be hooking up? Did you guys know that? You guys know that? That was in his original outline. Long time ago on my channel, I talk about like it leaked, right? And I was talking about it, and that was in there. He initially intended there to be an incestuous relationship between Jon and Arya, and that was totally going to happen. That's interesting, and it's cool. It was interesting to see how different he had actually planned stuff. Like Jamie wasn't supposed to have a redemption arc. And a lot of what Cersei was doing in the book went to Jamie. A lot of like her malice was in Jamie at that point. And then also a big divergence I remember was that Daenerys killed Drogo because Drogo killed Viserys. And then Daenerys finds dragon eggs after she escapes the Dothraki. So that's like a totally different story. So that's interesting. How violent is it compared to Gotham? Do you mean American Gods or Umbrella Academy? Because American Gods, I haven't seen Gotham actually, but I would probably say that American Gods is probably more violent anyways, even though I haven't seen it, because American Gods is on one of the premium channels and they can show a lot of there's people getting split in half in this, and guts and blood. There's some really messed up violence in this. So I don't think Gotham goes that far. I haven't seen it, so it could, but I don't think so. I realize this is slightly hypocritical being in a Song of Ice. I can't read today. I realize this is slightly hypocritical being in a Song of Ice and Fire fan. But that kind of put me off Umbrella Academy. The incest stuff? Yeah, it's a little weird. I kind of wish that wasn't happening. To be honest. I kind of wish it wasn't happening. Because I'm just like, it's kind of... And I don't want to complain about it because I'm not done with it, but I kind of hate how much everyone in the house hates each other. Like, I feel like my family is really dysfunctional, and I just don't want... can you guys be functional? Can you guys fight as a team once? I feel like, am I going to see that in this show? Because what I really want is for them to come together, like all 6 of them, just come together, right? And fight together and use their powers and work together. So, yeah. And it's really frustrating to me to see them argue all the time and hate each other. And it also is kind of giving me that feeling that I really hated about the last season of Daredevil, and that I really hated about that fucking stupid Luke Cage show, and that I really hated about that stupid Iron Fist show, and that I really hated about Jessica Jones, is that it's like, it's too slow. Move the fuck along. Stop stringing me along with bullshit. Right? I hate this. I feel like there's too much filler. And maybe it's a little bit better here because there's only 10 episodes, and they would try to do 13 episodes of those fucking Marvel shows. So it'd be like, oh my god, move along. But I kind of slightly get that feeling here, and when I do, I'm just like... But also, I gotta be fair, because I'm coming right off of watching... American Gods, which was like kind of like top tier television. So it's like I can't really like compare. I'm trying not to compare it to American Gods. So it's like I watched something that was clearly like changing me subconsciously and like trying to put all these different super meaningful multi-layered things in front of my face, and I know I haven't fully processed it all. And then I go to Umbrella Academy, and it's more like standard kind of storytelling, kind of like a standard story. Like, I've seen pretty much everything in Umbrella Academy before, right? So it's not bad, but I've seen it all before, basically. Whereas American Gods was like, I've never seen anything like this, ever. But Umbrella Academy, it's watchable. So I'm watching it because it's fun, it's exciting, and as soon as I'm done with the stream, I'm probably going to go watch another episode because something cool just happened when I stopped, so that's interesting. Yeah. What else am I doing with my life? Oh, yeah, so Ultimate Guide to Dune. I know I've been saying it's coming out for a while, but it's really coming out this month. Probably going to post a teaser, probably tonight or tomorrow. Post a teaser on Twitter for some people. And then we're going to get this out in the next few days here. And yeah, that one's been it's been difficult because Heretics of Dune, there's not a lot of art for it, so I had to get some art made for certain characters. And I took a little break from After God Emperor just to like kind of like take a break from the Dune universe, and then I came back to it for Heretics and read the book again and again. I read the book like twice, and then read it again, and then took notes. Um, and so Heretics of Dune, the reason that I want it to be really thorough this time is because this book, there's a 1500-year skip, right? And like the structure of the universe is so different at this point. And we really see the internal workings of the Bene Gesserit sisterhood in this book for the first time ever. So we learn a lot about the Bene Gesserit that we didn't know before. And I just really wanted to make sure I had a clear understanding of I wanted to make sure I pulled out everything that I could from the text that I possibly could. And then I also went ahead while I was writing the script for Heretics, I also went ahead and read through Chapter House one time so that I could like maybe because these two books basically go together, so that I could grab any bits from that could help in my explaining of what was going on in Heretics of Dune, and that did help a lot actually. So these you could say I've been kind of working on Heretics and Chapter House at the same time, even though I haven't written any of the script of Chapter House, but yeah. So Heretics is still on the editing floor. I'm still putting bells and whistles in and getting it ready for the final production phase and for the upload. It's just over an hour long. And yeah, it's been fun and tiring, and that's going to be exciting. And then I've got Wheel of Time videos that are going to be going up over the next few weeks into April because I'm going to Jordan Con at the end of April. Going to be on several panels. And then also Con of Thrones, and also perhaps another convention in October, which might be, I think, slightly more Halloween themed or something like that. But I haven't all the details on that one yet. And then I've got some more interesting things that I'm planning on doing coming up. So I've got a Maegor Targaryen discussion coming up with Order of the Green Hand in podcast forum. It's going to be like a debate type situation. And then another debate / discussion that I've got going on is going to be, I'm really excited about this one. It's a Stannis Baratheon debate. You know, what's so great about Stannis? Because I said on Twitter a while ago, I was like, you know, I have no idea why so many people go super hard for Stannis. I'm like, he's cool, but I'm not like super into him like that. So I tweeted, it got a lot of response, like a lot of response. And so I asked Brendan Beefish to come on my channel and like have a chat discussion with me in Great Area about why I like Stannis so much. So that's coming on my channel, and that's going to be really exciting and fun. I'm like looking forward to that one a lot because I haven't had the chance to talk to that guy really. I just see him on Twitter, so it's going to be interesting to see his perspective on Stannis because I'm like, to me, Stannis is just kind of like I don't know, it's kind of basic. And like the arguments that are like super pro Stannis, I never really get because it's like, oh yeah, he's fighting for the realm. I'm like, no, he's not. He's fighting because he feels like he should rule. He feels like he has a right to rule no matter what, even if thousands of people are going to die because of it. He doesn't care. So I'm kind of like, he kills his own brother, and he's not really that great, but whatever. We'll see what he says. We'll see. And then Wheel of Time videos going on. I think I mentioned that. So it's an exciting time for my channel, I guess. Well, not I guess, it is. It is. And then we've of course got Game of Thrones coming in, so I'm going to be doing a stream before every episode, the hour before every episode. I'm going to get like things set up. It's going to be looking nice, streaming with predictions, and I'll talk about the previous episode. So that's going to be cool. And then obviously I'll be reviewing every episode after it comes out. Me pulling an all-nighter as I do every season. I'll watch the episode, I'll watch it again, I'll take notes, and then I review it that night. And I usually have the review up at like 6 o'clock in the morning. It's an all-night process going through the episode and really looking at it. And that's the thing. So yeah, so It's gonna be fun. It's busy in the upcoming days and months. I've been really busy, just doing a lot, and I've been kind of neglecting these Patreon streams a lot. So I apologize for that, but I'm planning on doing another one of these this month just to make up for the ones that I missed. So that'll be cool. And then I've got more exciting stuff for you guys coming. Would you be open to doing American Gods content? Definitely. And I'll tell you what, the book, I'm about a third of the way through it, and it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different. In the beginning, the differences are more superficial, but then as I've been going through the book, the differences get gradually more significant. But it's still the book is much better. It's not like, not saying that the show's bad, but the book is like the book is legit. So yeah, I could see myself doing American Gods content for sure because I feel like even after watching that first season, I just feel like there's so much that I probably missed, so much that deserves a second look. And it was interesting because I picked up on Mr. Wednesday very quickly. I figured out who he was very quickly. It was I figured out who he was pretty much immediately because like gets in the plane, he's like, "What's your name?" He says, "What day is it?" He says, "Wednesday," and he says, "Today's my day." So to me, I like mythology. Song of Ice and Fire. I talk about mythology all the time. Of course, I know what that means. Of course, I figured out what that means. So it's like that was cool. But still, that even though I figured that out, and I think that was put there so that if you are aware that you can figure it out, but that didn't make the ending any less impactful when that reveal happens, and that was really cool. So, oh man, I'm just really excited about American Gods now. I really am, and I'm excited to like watch the episode tonight. I think it's tonight. Someone said it was tonight. I'm excited to watch the episode tonight and to just, I guess, watch it weekly from here on out. I might wait a little bit so I can binge a few, but we will see how that turns out. And I'm hoping the second season is good. I'll probably finish the book before um, the second season is done airing. I'll probably finish the book within the next couple of days, probably. Heck, I might finish it tonight. I've done it before. I mean, when Fire and Blood came out, I got the ebook at midnight and finished the book by later that night. So, if American Gods gets any better, I might not be able to put it down by the end of the night. So we'll see how that turns out. Yeah, I've been having fun reading it so far, but it's interesting. I'm curious as to how much of the book did the first season tell, right? Because I don't think that first season was the full story. So I'm wondering how much. I'm wondering if that like this is that like the middle part of the book, or is that like 1/4 of the? It can't be 1/4. I'm wondering how much of the story that is. Is there a second book? I don't know if there's a second book. Actually, no, there probably isn't because in the edition of the book that I have, there's like an author's note in the beginning, and he's saying that maybe he'll revisit the novel, but I don't know how long ago that was written either. So. I don't know. I can Google it right now. I have the internet. I have the internet right here. Let's see. So I have it on my tablet because I'm like crazy about ebooks right now. It's like all I do. Ooh, so there is a sequel. There is a sequel. Anansi. Oh, Anansi is the one god guy. Is this the sequel or was this a spinoff? Oh, this is a sequel, isn't it? Blah, 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 blah. Is this a sequel or a spinoff? I don't want to read the plot. I don't want to look at the plot. If I look at the plot, it's going to spoil it. I just need to know. I need to know whether it's a sequel or a spinoff. I definitely recognize the name. The name is the spider. Blah, blah, blah. Neil Gaiman returns to the territory of his masterpiece. What does that mean? God, I hate it when they don't straight up tell me if it's a spin-off or a sequel. Ugh, I guess I'll just wait till I finish it. Because I hate reading synopsises online or summaries of books. Because if it's not a good summary, it will just straight up spoil the freaking book. Same reason I hate watching trailers.
This is a reminder.
What, Alexa?
I have a story.
What?
This is a reminder. I have a story.
You have a story? What? I don't know what the fuck that bitch is talking about. Alexa, shut the fuck up. Just shut up. Just shut up, Alexa. At one point in my life, I said I would never get Amazon Alexa because I'm like, I don't want all those microphones in my house, but now I have like 3 of them.
I'd rather not answer that.
You shut up. You shut up. Now I have like 3 of them in like different rooms in my house. And she's just good at playing music, I will say that. Like I have, and she's good. I fell in love with the smart home stuff, right? So I have a bunch of smart home stuff because I'm just like, I'm a Star Trek fan at heart, and I'm planning on getting. I just moved into this place, so I'm planning on getting some LED lights, so that I can say, "Computer, red alert," and have her switch the lights to red and like do some party tricks basically. That's the only reason I'm gonna spend hundreds of dollars on the Androids. Well, if you're Echo activated, yeah, it's super annoying, right? That's why I'm planning on changing my wake word to computer, so that it's more Star Trek like. It's more Star Trek like, and I feel like that's cool. Oh man, I'm super excited moving into this place because I have so much space. I have a lot of ideas about what I'm going to do with this place. You see I got my whole new desk, my whole new setup. You can't see it too well because the light's off. Whole new desk, whole new setup, and it's pretty sweet. Lots and lots of space. God, that's one thing that was missing during my childhood was like I just had no space, no privacy. I have so many siblings, so many cousins. It was just like a nightmare. Which is why I have a problem with like sharing food. Well, actually, I don't. I have a problem. I only have a problem sharing food with my family members. It's the darndest thing. Like if like let's say I'm like eating a plate of like delicious French fries, right? And let's say like a buddy of mine came over and grabbed a couple of fries. I wouldn't care at all. I just be like, oh yeah, get some more. But let's say like my brother or my sister did that, I would fucking freak. And I don't know, it stems from like being kids and having to be competitive over food. Like when you've got 5 siblings, you cannot be chill about the food in the house. You cannot be chill. You absolutely cannot be chill because like everyone's gonna eat your shit. And you gotta be a bitch. You gotta be an asshole, and you've gotta be like territorial about your food. And that's just the way. It's the way I turned out. I have to stop myself sometimes. Because it was like okay. So let's say, okay, for instance, and this is a really dumb, shitty example, right? So like one of my birthdays. When I was a kid, right, I got some money for my birthday. And I was like, you know what I'm going to do? Because we were fucking poor, so we didn't have money. So, you know what I'm going to fucking do? I'm going to go to, like, Crystal's, like Crystal Burgers. And I'm going to get, like, 12 burgers. I'm going to eat them all myself. And no one is going to touch my fucking burgers. And so I got 12 burgers. And, I started eating them. And my siblings started being all like, hey, can I get a burger? You've got so many. And, I shared. And then later, when something similar happened, and someone else had an abundance of food, and I asked, you know what happened? I got denied. You won't share with me, but I have to share with you. So from that point on, it was like, fuck you guys. Never gonna share my fucking food with you. State of my life. And I was such a fucking weirdo child. I'm a weirdo now still. Such an angsty teenager. I was I definitely went through my I don't need you, I don't need anyone phase. I definitely went through that phase in my life, and it was like, it's not fun. It's not fun. Like, you think you want to grow up, and then you're just like, God damn it, the world fucking sucks. But then I guess I kind of got my shit together eventually, you know. But yeah, that's enough about my life. How about you? How are you guys doing? How are you guys doing? I think I'm gonna end this in a little bit. I've been going for about an hour, so I usually do these for about an hour just to say hi to you guys. It's really I honestly like streaming when it's just like a couple people there because there's less pressure when there's a few people here rather than streaming on my main YouTube channel. Like everyone's there watching me, all these freaking eyes. I'm a shy person, right? All right. So I definitely recommend you guys check out American Gods. And then after you're done with American Gods, I would recommend read the book. And then after you've read the book, then I would recommend watching Umbrella Academy. And then you might like it if you... Umbrella Academy is not for everyone. And neither is American Gods. I feel like American Gods is for like a kind of... If you want to think about the story. And if you don't... If you want everything to just be answered for you, you're not going to like American Gods. But I feel like Umbrella Academy is more standard. It's kind of targeting, I guess, the Avengers people, teenage audience or whatever. But yeah. So, thank you guys for chilling with me for an hour. It's been real. By Wolfed by Elena Preston of Bravos. Hope I'm Prestain of Bravos. Elena Prestain of Bravos. I don't know why I keep saying that wrong. Maybe I'll just read the book American Gods. Maybe, yeah, maybe just skip to the book because you know, I can almost guarantee you the book is probably going to be better. In almost every case, the book is better than the adaptation. College deadlines are stressful, but nearly finished the semester, so and all my favorite shows are returned. It's pretty good. Yeah, Game of Thrones, um, American Gods. How did I forget the name of American Gods? And I was just talking about Game of Thrones, American Gods. And then another one that I'm excited about, which I don't know if any of you are, but Sabrina, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Like Alana, Alana. Okay, Alana Prestain of Bravos. There we go. Alana. I like the name Alana. 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 Alana, my love. It rolls off the tongue. Alana. I like saying it. Alana. I'm going to play The Sims, and I'm going to name a character Alana after you, Alana Prestain of Bravos. I have a weird Sims game. You know, I'm kind of like a huge Sims fan, so I have all of them, and I have a shit ton of mods. And I have, like, I've got this weird storyline where I have all these witches, and they're like, they live in this magical kingdom, and they're like murdering each other all the time. It's really intense. It's really intense. See, I'm not a hardcore gamer. I'm like, I'm kind of a casual gamer, and The Sims is kind of like a perfect casual hardcore game because you can just kind of casually tell your own story. So it's like I have a lot of fun with it, and Alana's a great name. I'm always looking for more like kind of interesting sounding names. But yeah, I'm out of here, guys. It's been great. Peace out, and this will be on Patreon if anybody wants to watch it later on. Peace.